American comics versus manga. Do we want to watch this, guys? It's going to be... I guess we have time. Jimmy and his media empire. The vibes were not matched. That is what I was also seeing. It's midnight and I'm eating cold leftover pizza. Let's go. Bloosh? Bloosh? Who's that?
All right.
I don't know what this is. So, reject comic books, embrace Japanese manga. From the Gundam guy. It's a Gundam who sucks. Apparently I have to watch this. Is this loud enough?
We're dead, all right. We're just not broke. And you know the surest way to go broke?
Manga.
Keep getting an increasing share of a shrinking market. Down the tube.
Step Brew, thanks for the biddies.
Slow but sure.
Uh-huh.
You know,
okay.
At one time there must have been dozens of companies making buggy whips. And I'll bet the last company around was the one that made the best goddamn buggy whip you ever saw. Now, how would you have liked to have been a stockholder in that company? You invested in a business, and this business is dead. Let's have the intelligence, let's have the decency to sign the death certificate, collect the insurance, and invest in something with a future.
What? What? The kind of content that right-winger chuds watch is so odd to me. Like, it's so, like... It's... What's the word I even want to find? Like, preachy doesn't quite cover it, is, I guess, where I'm orbiting some other word that exists that's not preachy. Pandering is definitely one of them. Like, it's always pandering, dude. There's always, like... boomery sort of like, you know, I guess this pre-roll thing is what I'm talking about a little bit, like the pre-roll of it, the like there's always like a speech or a quote or like they're making fun of someone with blue hair, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's like patronizing, it's cringe, it's like a whole bunch of things. I don't know what the word quite is though. And then of course he has a rant Sona. I know he's always had one, but you know. No confidence, little boys.
And inclusive content makes money.
Cool. Has all the comic books, the once dominant force in American pop culture.
Jesus Christ, he sounds like a boy. All right. He actually sounds like if Kyle Kalinske had a cousin who borrowed money from him a lot.
Now has all the force and relevance of an asthmatic ant named Gordon. Don't get me wrong, the MCU had its golden age while the DCU lagged behind with a club foot. But to say
why is there so much shit on the screen?
Superhero fatigue isn't setting in is to say the cost of living isn't skyrocketing. As I get older, I now realize the comic book industry has become taken over by fetishists and Tumblr artists who care more about pushing an agenda or a king than they care about writing something genuinely good. Case in point, the piss fetish joke in the X-23's version of Wolverine comic book panel.
Thoughts?
Whittle baby loves pee.
What?
Welcome to my aquarium, lovelies. Make yourselves at home because you're never leaving. You like watching people piss, huh? What? You like pee, you're into it. No, that's not true. Then why can't we use the clothing racks to do our business in private? It's a security concern. It's an excuse for poorly disguised fetish. Aw, little piss boy. So the comic panel's talking about peeing.
Well, in the aquarium, lovies, make yourselves at home because you're never leaving. You like watching people piss?
Yeah,
huh? What? You like pee, don't you? You're it's an or pee pee.
Yeah, there we go. Piss baby, pee pee boy, whittle baby loves pee. That's hilarious.
Pee boy, whittle baby loves pee.
I got nothing for this. Fuck.
Yeah, nothing. That's funny. I don't know. Are we mad? Are we mad about that? That's funny. What the fuck? I read some fucking comic books when I was a kid, and they were wild shit, dude. There was a book I read when I was a child, okay, and this lady brought back a corpse from like, she made a corpse animate and then fucked it. And it wasn't like a porn book, it was just in a edgy Image Comics or something. And it wasn't like explicit, but it was certainly a lot. And it was sounds like Spawn. It wasn't Spawn. It was, we talked about this before. It was like it was like the hardcore Justice League or something, or actually like hardcore X-Men.
A cry from the X-Men Jim Lee run, I remember.
Being the people actually able to step forward with them is like really, really something. And I am like, you know, that's the biggest thing that I want moving forward, is just like, I want to make sure we keep the ground we've taken. Like, because, you know, we're going, you know, like, knock on wood, we're all gonna be around this industry for a very long time. And the goal is, and that during that time, the culture is going to swing like a pendulum from like moments of like conservative moments in like very liberal moments. And we need, in the moments that the, you know, pendulum swings in a direction that is not in our favor, we need to make sure we hold on to the ground that we've taken. We need to make sure that we continue to support each other and make sure that we keep each other in this industry.
Marshall?
Yeah. I have no this isn't like they did it publicly. It's not like a secret thing. Yes. Have you seen the media that the people have been putting out lately? It's fucking awesome. Like, the last like 5 years of film and TV, there's been some really good shit that's come out. Because these people are starting to get institutional power within entertainment. You know what I mean? People like our age, and it's starting to like really resonate and be really good. I think my computer's on fire. I think maybe it is.
He has no moral compass. He is a rat.
When comic book pros talk like warlords divvying up the industry, it's no wonder that comic books are in such a starry state. IDW's on life
starry state.
Aftershock is filed for bankruptcy, and DC is restructuring / rebooting itself again.
Who gives a fuck? I've been way too busy fucking to worry about this shit. Who gives a fuck? I don't care. I don't care about these I don't care about DC. I don't care about Marvel. I don't give a fuck. I watch stuff that's good. That's it. If it's good, fucking, then it's good. What is this? I cannot focus on anything in this Chud's video. His editing is just so distracting. Yeah, I don't know he's mad about this. The industry, who cares? Who gives a fuck? I genuinely can't. This is why I was asking, who wants me to watch this shit? Who cares? Let's go faster. You've officially been put to 125. If I get to 2, we're turning it off.
With a new dawn or something. This may be in an effort to keep David Zaslav from gutting the company like the stuffed pig it is. Fat, overbearing, and corpulent. I mean, look at this comic book panel here. How is this not the most sought-after book on the market?
You've got to run. You hear me? Run. I can handle Killer Moth. Girl, you can't even handle standing.
I mean, if I was
you don't
David
have to be a
Zaslav
hero.
and I saw
this
this, I'd
isn't
fire
your fight
everybody.
because she's shot in the leg.
Ball.
Some maniac
like,
who
this
hurt
is-
my friend is about to do it again.
Oh,
I don't know how
Batman's
this
the only
isn't
thing
my
that sells
fight.
DC, by the
You
way.
said it yourself. We don't get to quit.
And they are trying their best to ruin it.
You've got to run. You hear me? Run.
Okay. I don't. At least armor plating, nice. If I survive this, my wife is going to kill me. At least take a utility belt, some batarang, something. You need to have a weapon, please. I'm a trans woman in Gotham. Of course I have a weapon. It's a bat. That's funny, though.
Armored plating, nice.
Yeah, that's funny.
Married to a woman.
It's funny.
Please take, please.
It's a little fart sniffy. It's like little lib like groan. But like also, it's a bat. It's a bashing bat. I'm in. Who cares?
Trans woman in Gotham. Of course I have a weapon.
Yeah. It's a crime. It's a city filled with crime, famously. And she's a member of the minority class. Like, It is a little groany. But, you know, it was probably written by a cis person. If it wasn't, it was written by, you know, a little bit of a groaner, dude. That's fine. They get a groan every once in a while. Wow, Jesus Christ.
Like,
so
this
indulgent.
is something that in 2011 you would have saw on some Tumblr page, and you would have looked at it and be like, oh, I'm glad that these people aren't in the industry. And
Yeah, and then 12 years later, those artists are in the industry. Uh-oh.
now they're the mainstream, baby. Jesus Christ. You know, in the clip, they're going to say something like, we need to make it seem like the gay and trans characters are fully fleshed out and realized people. Yet they continuously write them like memes.
Coming out stories. I think every coming out story, right, has probably been told or we've seen different angles on it. What we need is actually fully realized, lived in trans and queer characters, that their sexuality, that their gender identity is not their only character trait, but that they have a dimensional, realized life.
Yes.
Inches later.
We need more of celebrating queerness and transness in a way that has not been done because we've been relegated to like needing to speak on the parts that make it relatable to other people.
Yeah, those are not competing ideas. He's not a very bright man. I'm surprised. I'm surprised this guy's not very smart and doesn't have good takes. You tricked me, chat. You tricked me. He's the Gundam guy, and I thought he was going to have smartness in there, in his head. Yeah, you can not tell the same story and also, wait, what he said there, right? He, him. See, it was easy. What he said there was we gotta tell stories not just so that people are like, oh yes, I empathize, but also like tell just the stories that exist. It's not like the only aspect of their personality. Sometimes it'll come up, sometimes it won't, and that's cool. And like not being about that. He's agreeing with you about how this is probably a little hammy. And it is hammy. It's a comic book. I mean, there are a lot of them are like that. You see Bruce Wayne crying about his dead parents for the 7,000th straight day, and you don't think that's hammy at all. But one person being excited to use their fash bashing bat, and now you're shitting your pants. I don't know, dude.
This is the sort of writing you'd expect from a kid in high school that was living out a fantasy.
I gotta see this guy's comics.
Like, it's terrible. I could write better than this.
Do it, please. I need it. I need to see it.
I've done it.
Do it. Have you? Where's his comic books? Where are they? Let me see. Twitch, Patreon. Nope.
As far as these iconic characters go, I think the more people speak up about the versions of the characters that they want to see, the more people listen.
God, his editing is worse than my spelling. Thanks for the biddies.
At the top, I think it's a precarious,
Gundam.
sometimes political
Gundam.
game we have to play when it comes to certain characters. I mean, I think there's still a lot of battles. There are still a lot of battles to be fought.
Yeah.
But as far as toxic masculinity in our industry and fandom is concerned specifically, I think what I've come to find is that there's usually a very large or very vocal but small group of people that are the toxic ones. And I think the majority of fans and the majority of people consuming this media, they're good people. And I don't think that, you know, they're as vocal. So I think if you are an ally, again, just like you kind of use your voice and
I need to understand why this is edited this way.
support. I think
When the focus is more on turning characters queer and having allies to show support instead of creating something good,
What do you mean? Literally, The Last of Us did that. Other shows do this constantly. And you always go, woke. They should just be good characters. I mean, it happens all the time. Literally watch anything. They're all good. Watch the fucking thing. You can't show a love story between two people without it being woke. You guys watch Our Flag Means Death? You should watch that. It's a great show. And there's some gays in it. Just check it out.
the only thing you have is nothing. You have a false success, which a lot of people are too comfortable with today. These comic book creators had a 2-hour therapy session on their worldview that wasn't even really true. They also broke their own arms to pat themselves on the back. You may notice that Mags Rosario is there too. All I know about Mags is they write stuff nobody cares about or remembers, and Mags is oftentimes on Twitter begging for money to pay rent. This person's career isn't a W.
What the f*** is this piece of shit?
I don't comics. I don't know. I don't think having financial difficulty is a measure of whether or not you're a competent comic book artist. There's a reason that the industry is dying, and it has a lot to do with the saturation of entertainment and not like comic books specifically. Like the medium just isn't as popular as it was. It'll have a renaissance at some point, I'm sure, especially as these AAA comic book companies sort of like, dial back the comic book movie. But like, it just is what it is. If people read comics now, usually it's often on like web comic stuff. Some people buy physical stuff still, obviously. And like graphic novels are more manga's long. Like they'll sell like thick books. Like it's just a different experience than a one-issue comic book. Like people don't go to the store as regularly to get those things anymore. Like they also don't. When I grew up, I feel like they had at 7-Elevens and stuff like racks of like the new comic books and also like the nudie mags and stuff. I don't know if they still have that, but it's certainly not up front or anything. And they'd have like, what was that one? Maxim? I feel like my parents got me a subscription to Maxim because they thought that's what teenagers wanted. And I always thought it was like a little uncomfortable. I mean, I like hot babes just like any other red-blooded American man, but it's like wasn't really my thing.
Cite my sources and bring evidence. So I love data. I love research. I mean,
Comic sales have been growing. Physical comic sales or digital? Looks like at $2 billion last year in 2021. I bet this was a COVID thing. Combined print and digital. Yeah. That makes sense. Ooh, I should buy some fucking terrain soon. Anyway.
all shows that diverse and
Your
inclusive.
parents bought you porn? Maxim is not porn? Nope.
Content makes money, and I think to get a cishet person really invested, you sometimes have to go straight for the money and just show them that not only are these stories worth telling for obvious reasons that we are people and our lives and stories matter and are worth telling, but they're worth it in a financial sense. And I think that a lot of the times with these situations, you got to hit them in the pocketbook. You got to show them that it's a financially lucrative, smart endeavor.
She seems to be talking about specifically the producers that fund these things, and yes, it is often if you get a hit. I mean, it's clearly they turn a profit on almost all these things.
Computer says no.
Is there really a gay Superman canceled after 18 issues because one of the last issues that came out only sold 34,000 copies? 34,000 is not a lot. It was #1 for the first issue because basically comic book collectors buy all the variants and stuff because it's the #1 issue of something. Let's face it, maybe 50 years down the line, it might be worth $300-400. It could get you a carton of eggs. Superman lasted for decades. Superman, son of Kal-El, didn't make it a year. Color me surprised. DC cancels bisexual Superman. Publisher pulls series about Kal-El, son, coming out and fighting climate change deniers after 18 issues as sales plummet to just 34K last month. Oh, I forgot, Superman was protesting climate change, because that makes sense. The most powerful man on the planet takes time out of ramming his boyfriend to write a sign about climate change.
Bet the Daily Mail is right. Like, what is your recollection of Superman? Superman has done this kind of shit forever. Like, you can look up panels of Superman being like, don't be racist, kids. Like, Isn't there a famous one where he talks to Muhammad Ali? Am I nuts? Superman versus Muhammad Ali. Who was, if you remember, quite a politically charged individual. Let's see. Another crushing left. Muhammad Ali. A white man hanging out with a black man. Except for subtle changes in hue, all humans look exactly alike to them. Woke. It's woke. For those of you who are wondering why Superman agreed to fight in his costume, is because many of our alien spectators wouldn't be able to tell the fighters apart. Except for subtle changes in hue, all humans look exactly alike to them. What message do you think that has? What's Superman woke messaging? God damn.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's so weird. It's so weird that this content exists on the internet and has an audience. I don't know how these guys fucking make it through the day. Don't date these people. Can you just, hey, if you're a person, don't date these people. Don't let any of them into your business. Never, ever, ever. The only way that these things will change is if they are lonely.
Yeah, they were so desperate.
They have to learn to socialize, bro.
Attention, remember by the 6th issue? Like, they faked being threatened and harassed online to make headlines, and then it came out that there was no police report filed about them being harassed, and also nobody was sending death threats to the writer in LA because he actually lived in Australia. It was wild. Oh, remember Batwoman on the WB? That got canceled. You know, that one made no sense. So the original Batwoman vanishes, right, in the show, not the comics. Batwoman's suit survives a plane crash, and this black chick finds it and runs around as Batwoman. And she's also a lesbian and stuff. It was so dumb. It was just like, who writes this poorly?
I think all the DC stuff has been asked. Everyone agrees. But it's not because they're fucking woke. It's not about the wokeness that makes this not work. Black Batwoman totally can be fine. They just gotta write well. And this show always looked like shit. I don't know. I don't know why they attribute poorly funded WB style shows, like, they pretend that these are some AAA fucking productions that are supposed to be like, you know, rivaling the mainstream Marvel Loki series. Like, nope. This is schlock. This is The Flash. It's bad. All of it's bad. The Flash is dog shit, for the record. The Flash sucks. And if you like it, you have questionable taste in your superhero content. But The Flash does, in fact, deserve awesome content because he's one of my favorite superheroes in the DC universe.
Well, Bros also was the gay movie that bombed at the box office.
Bros bombed because nobody wanted to go see a movie at the time it came out. No one was interested in going to see a movie in theaters. It should have just been out on streaming. Everyone's going to... When this is free to watch on a major streaming platform, people will watch it and be like, oh, it's cute. And it just came out recently on streaming. People will be like, oh, it's pretty good. It's not going to be great. It's going to be pretty good. Also, yeah, people don't like Billy Eichner. I'm not surprised.
And the creator was on Twitter fighting for like 2 weeks, blaming straight people because they didn't watch his gay rom-com.
Diverse and inclusive content.
There is such a difference between this content existing and it having to be good. There is good queer content out there, lots of it. Some of it's not going to be good. It doesn't have to be all good. Some of it's going to be dog shit, and that's okay. Some really good stuff out there, though.
Makes money.
I can give you 1,000. The casts are insane.
The action is fierce.
It's got Michelle Yeoh, who is, I mean, you already know that, but she's just incredible.
It's set 1,000 years before The Witcher.
It explores part of the lore of The Witcher.
No one wanted this. I didn't know that it was woke. If it is or not, doesn't matter. I didn't watch it. No one will watch it because no one gives a fuck.
That hasn't been explored before.
There are monsters like we've never seen before.
It has the first kiss between two men in the show.
Just in, DC Comics made the Joker pregnant in its latest issue because, of course, it did. If I recall correctly, Jessica Bell was the one who broke this story. She does.
Pregnant Joker? Who gives a fuck? Joker does all sorts of wacky shit. This one is stupid. I don't give a fuck if Joker's pregnant. What? Yeah. What? Wasn't fucking... Arnold Schwarzenegger was also pregnant once in a movie, and it was fine. Relax. No, he was pregnant. Don't worry about it.
Reviews for comic books on a site called Batman News.
Don't spoil it. I'll never read it. Don't spoil it.
Just tickled her pink. She must have loved it.
If that's one of his fetishes, we will just see as we read this comic. So then the Joker wakes up from his encounter with Zatanna, his battle with her, and she has apparently put a spell on him. I think that's the implication. But
Zatanna put a spell on him to go through pregnancy? That's a very Zatanna thing. That makes a lot of sense.
Wakes up, thinks it's all a dream, and then finds that, well, he's pregnant. But is the Joker shocked by this? No, he just does what any man who's just discovered that they're pregnant does. He goes to the hospital and prepares to give birth. And then we get a sequence where the Joker, and I think it's like Dr. Atomic or whatever his name is like getting up into him and is like helping him push. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. If I had to see this image, so do you. But the Joker, despite being just, pretty much fine with giving birth, ends up throwing up, and he throws up this mud creature. Yes.
Yes. Zatanna... What? This is like good stuff. This is classic Zatanna shit. Classic like spells, especially when you're interacting with the Joker. It's got to be weird. I love that Joker keeps calling Dr. Phosphorus the wrong name. Lord Deathman, it's Dr. Phosphorus in the last panel. Is it going to hurt Doc? Director Bones, it's Dr. Phosphorus. That's funny.
It's pretty much fine. Then this crazy chase ensues.
Yeah, I would really love it if one of you would kill that thing. Yep, it's Dr. So he wasn't even pregnant. It just he puked it up.
But it's like, how does DC Comics editorial keep letting this happen? People hated it when Dan Didio was like a CEO of DC Comics, but since he's left, it's like there's been no leadership over there. It's like DC Comics is being run by raccoons, and there's a lot of controversy around comic books right now. And people say, well, anyone who dislikes what's going on with comics is just one of those right-wing culture war YouTubers. I'm not one of those people. It's not that this is something that you're not going to like if you're just a right-wing bigot or whatever. No, this is someone with general decency is not going to like this. I don't want any part of the culture war, but I'm reading this and I'm like, how can you let this get published?
Diverse and inclusive content.
I don't know how it was perverse. Like, what? He had a thing in him and it made him throw up. That's interesting. I don't know.
Makes money.
What was once considered Twitter weirdo art
comic
is
books,
now
though,
in
so
the
I don't
mainstream.
care. I don't know. It wasn't even pregnant. It was in his belly. He threw it up. That's not how pregnancy works. Anyone know how pregnants?
About other really crappy ideas that the comic book industry has come up with. X-Men Children of the Atom, not to be confused with the video games that came out previous generations ago. But literally, the new version of X-Men Children of the Atom is a fan fiction everyone had forgot existed. The premise is LGBTQ and minority characters are now the X-Men. Mm-hmm. They also have similar, if not the same exact powers as the previous X-Men, like Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Gambit, Archangel, etc. Which honestly, to its core, is very basic in writing. It's like something a kid would come with. These are the sort of fantasies I had in school, dude. How is this even like gone across an editor's table and they go, this is a good idea? Yeah.
Because they wanted to try it out. I don't know, man. I don't know a lot about the comic book continuum. Tell a story you want to tell, and if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's okay. It doesn't have to be the end of the world if they make a bad story that you don't like. I don't know, man. It's very odd. Do you like buy a lot of comic books? Because it doesn't sound like he enjoys comic books. Maybe he does. Please make the same like, what story do you want? You guys hear that? Someone's vehicle, like.
Yeah, let's just redo the X-Men with minorities and gay people.
Yeah, that'd be fucking wild if there were minorities in the X-Men. He hasn't mentioned manga yet. He will at the end.
It's 2022. Don't dare come up with a new idea. The other funny part was I think one of them was a cosplayer and Twitch streamer, which makes absolutely no sense, but hey, it's the thing that was hot. Pretty soon we'll have TikTok heroes. And I know some people are probably sitting there going, hey, the X-Men are already diverse. You need to shut up, bigot. It's obvious you hate women. Daniel Kibblesmith's New Warriors. It was so bad Marvel silently canceled it, like an unwanted pregnancy. How could the idea of Snowflake in safe space not be a guaranteed hit with the kids today? These are the ideas dreamed up by a man who...
Snowflake in safe space. Yeah, I mean, seems bad. I don't know.
...injects soy directly into his balls. Oh yeah, I forgot Daniel Kibblesmith wrote the...
Soy into his balls. What a funny guy. Check your son's internet histories. Ignore the word weird porn and have search keyword for the Jews. Have a discussion. Repeat. Ignore the weird porn and search for the keyword Jews. I think that's kind of a funny tweet, honestly.
Children's Christmas book, The Gay Santa.
Okay, what's wrong with gay Santa? You can have gay Santa. Who cares? That looks cute.
Where Santa Claus is gay in an interracial relationship. What a children's tale.
Like, I'd love to see...
Yeah, that's fine.
More trans people of color, disabled trans people of color, trans people who are queer identified, trans people who are not. I mean, there's so many stories that have not been told. And that's because people can't tell them because they haven't lived them.
Disabled trans black heroes. Well, I guess that explains why the Spider-Verse has the crippled Spider-Woman. Now...
You literally could, though. You can't. That's cool, by the way. That's actually kind of a cool idea. Literally, Dr. Octopus exists. I don't know, man. Like, there's lots of heroes that have disabilities, or they have, like... or they aren't able-bodied, and the power, like Daredevil comes to mind. I don't know, like, this is a thing that exists, and it's part of what makes the hero story interesting, is them overcoming whatever thing they have to do the hero stuff. Like, that's what makes Superman boring, is that he doesn't have shortcomings. Like, Professor X, literally can't walk. Doctor Strange, of course, yeah, he can't use his hands. They're all fucked up. Wolverine has mental health issues because of his fucking government experiments and shit. I don't know, man. This is cool, by the way. This is a cool design. I like this. I like the color scheme.
How the hell does disabled Spider-Woman climb walls?
What do you mean? Read the thing. How does disabled Spider-Woman? I mean, just like that.
Legs don't work. Her legs just be dangling because only her hands work. Wait, do her hands fully work? Does she climb the wall with like her little sticks? Because the sticks is where she shoots the webs. Honestly, it just don't make sense.
It's called Edge of the Spider-Verse. There's a spider pig in the back and a dune buggy. But if your legs don't work, you can't be a spider person. How do you climb walls, leg boy?
How does she fight? Now I gotta go look at a comic book. I'm not buying it though.
If you count mental health, there's lots of disabled. I would absolutely count mental health. If it's debilitating as a disability, absolutely. There's some of those people who can't fucking function. Like, part of it is they literally can't function.
Oh, really?
Or their mental health issue is part of what gives them the powers.
Marvel, if someone dragged that across my table, I beat them in the head with a ruler. Beat them with a stapler.
I actually liked She-Hulk, for the record. Did you watch She-Hulk? It was actually better than I thought it was going to be. It was pretty good.
Quinn's also writing for Marvel again. I'm sure that those comics will be better than anything Chris Claremont came up with.
You need to watch it. I mean, it's not a must-watch. It's fine. It's fun. I had a good time. They're short. The episodes are nice and digestible, and they're just fun. Yeah.
And I know you're chomping at
not
the bit.
Not nearly as bad. I thought it was going to be bad. No, I'd say like 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's not like something you really sink your teeth into, but the whole thing, the whole ordeal takes like 2.5 hours. So just watch the whole thing.
To read whatever it is she's going to do. Remember she did a comic for Vertigo, and they literally went out of business a year later. I don't even think she finished the comic line before they went out of business, which is also wild.
And creators, how do we combat toxic masculinity in our industry and fandom to someday get a bisexual Superman or a gay Iceman comic character onto the screen?
Well, we have our bisexual Superman in the comics. I know the question is talking about on screen, but the son of Superman, John Kent, was recently he recently came out, and I would love to see him on screen someday. But it's so new. I mean, I think it really.
I don't know what you're going to say.
Oh, you watched it after Luke Cage? Oh, that is a total tone shift. The old Marvel runs are very serious.
I was gonna say and this is for Kim if you want to take this back to work. I've always seen Poison Ivy as trans, and
oh my God, that's genius.
Just needs to happen.
No!
But also,
why? I actually think Poison Ivy, as someone who doesn't respect human gender, is good because she's so plant-like. I could see Poison Ivy go in many ways. I also like the idea of, I mean, there's a lot of great things that have queer characters. Sandman comes to mind.
Also, I really want like a trans lesbian like action adventure story on Themyscira. I was like, that's really.
Just you wait. Just you wait.
Oh, okay. Great.
Just you wait. We'll talk.
Most religiously was Wolverine because he seemed so trans in retrospect, and I just don't know why the world doesn't understand this. And I feel like
why Short King Wolverine doesn't seem like a trans man? That's funny, actually. Yeah, I like that. You don't have to do this kind of stuff, but you get to. You can play with it. It's whatever. I think a lot of the problem with taking a character and going like, is this that? Is that a lot of people are going to be like, well, that's not what the character always was. And that's true. So I think making new characters that are like that is fine. It's really hard, though, because part of the problem is the cool ideas have been slurped up because people got there first. Wolverine's a cool idea. He has knife hands and a healing factor. He's not indestructible, so he takes pain, so he's not like Superman. So he has to self-preserve a little bit, and there's still, like, you know, pain that he has to go through. And he cuts people with his knuckle knives. That's dope as shit. And, yeah, he's a cool idea. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to make a character like that again, just do it. I really think, though, the best stories are going to be original characters that happen to identify as something that the writer feels like they want to add to the story, and that those stories interact with characters in such a natural way. It doesn't feel shoehorned. Then it's really good. Yeah. It may come up in the story too, but you can have that. Like, I don't know. There's just been so many examples of media that's come out lately that has just queer representation as like a thing where they might not even bring it up a lot. It's just part of the vibe. And it's not baiting or anything. They're actually just the characters, right? It's great. So more of that. It'll be good. It'll get better and better as we go too.
Like it has to happen. So
Can we talk about how his OG height was 5'3"?
Jump to conclusion.
Whereas the comic book industry is creatively bankrupt to the point of total clown shoes, as these clips have illustrated, with a lack of respect for American mythology. You ever notice how Greek mythology has never changed over the hundred?
No, what? We do what do you mean? Greek mythology hasn't changed over what? God of War, Hades 1 and 2, any of the Assassin's Creeds, like, fucking pay attention. Hello? What? This is just a lie. Everyone changes these things. Constantly. Terry Pratchett has something to say. Fucking Neil Gaiman is gonna have some words with you. Fucking Christ.
Hundreds of years.
Fucking, what's the other one? Patrick Rothfuss disagrees strongly.
Hercules hasn't turned into a trans hero. Nobody's saying Herc is non-binary or gay. But
they might.
Over here, we're just trashing our mythology. If you want to make your own stuff, that's perfectly fine.
Our mythology?
Fine. But taking things that have been established for decades and changing them really doesn't sit well with anyone. What Western media has forgotten and manga keeps alive and well are stories about people, heroes, characters that are relatable.
Yeah, great relatable heroes like Guts from Berserk. Have you ever experienced Berserk, chat? There's not a fucking relatable character in there. Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? What an insane fucking story.
Because they look like me or because they're gay or trans or whatever. That's surface level relatability, and it's childish to the core. See, children react to images on screen because they genuinely think that they're actually seeing themselves. They just...
No, what the fuck? That they're seeing themselves... There's such a difference between representation and role play. Like, there's not a first-person perspective when I watched X-Men growing up. You know what I mean?
Don't go, oh, identify with this. They think, that is me. I'm up there. That's me. And any adult that needs that sort of validation, odds are has bigger issues and probably needs therapy. Japanese media as a whole understands the fundamental element of good storytelling is the human condition or the hero's journey. Whereas the Western media is
the human condition. The human condition has nothing to do with dealing with bigots. How many of these myths were carried by word of mouth, yet they would never change? I mean, they're all fucking, like, none of it's the same.
Obsessed with representation, taking ground, allies, support, safe spaces, stories ruled by committee and diversity quotas. They're not relatable. They're not interesting. They're homogenous. In anime and manga, heroes overcome adversity. They grow, they change, they learn. Whereas over here, some of our heroes are already fantastic, especially the female ones, and they can only get better, even though they're perfect. But they become.
I totally disagree with the Mary Sue stuff. If she's a Mary Sue, Luke Skywalker is to a further degree. It's just facts.
More perfect. Thank you, Rey Skywalker. Let's talk about a perfect example of a strong female character arc that isn't cringy. Like Claymore, for instance. The fact that Claymore never got a full anime adaptation to this day is criminal. But the point that I'm trying to make here is Claire goes through so much and grows as a character, and she regains her humanity. Even when the story starts out, Claire is strong, but she's never smug about it. It's a quiet confidence she carries.
She's never smug. Oh, okay. Women can't tell you that they're capable of stuff. Fucking bitch.
Even when she's around Rocky, who is weaker than her, she takes pity on him while keeping an emotional distance. She takes care of him. She brings him on a journey. I'm not going to ruin the whole thing for you. She doesn't emasculate him. This is how you make a strong female character lead. Hell.
She doesn't emasculate him? Do you feel emasculated, bro? Jesus fucking Christ. Emasculated? Who would Is anyone telling someone to emasculate other men? What the fuck? Did you know that men being wholesome and kind to each other is currently a very popular left-wing idea? Like, what? Have you seen Ted Lasso, bro? You should watch Ted. Watch Ted Lasso, dude. It's really synthesize it.
Even a team of strong female characters without being cringy, predictable, or making men out to be completely incompetent. I'm looking at you, Netflix Resident Evil. The female characters that also accompany her
Resident
are
Evil.
flawed individuals.
Who fucking watches this shit? Do you guys watch this schlock all the time?
But they overcome personal and physical limitations. How one of the girls loses an arm and she's still badass. And they take on a corrupt organization. But once again, I'm not going to ruin it for you because you probably want to check out Claymore. I'm serious. To make it simpler for most people today, Claymore is like The Witcher, but with chicks, okay? Long story short.
God, he is just so into this. Just do media analysis where you're really into stuff. Like, just do stuff you're excited about. Nah, this is how his butter is bread, though. His bread is butter.
Sure, they grow a sisterhood, and they have a bond between them that seems natural, and it doesn't seem forced. It doesn't seem cheesy. Captain Marvel
No,
and Charlie
this doesn't seem cheesy at all. There's nothing cheesy here.
Angels could have learned a lot from
Jesus
Claymore.
Christ.
On another hand, She-Hulk. It tried and failed to make a slice-of-life show inspired by anime and manga, because of course they did. But it lacked all the charm and sophistication of Shin-Chan.
Ants? Peas? Why would I do that? Duh, can't you read? It says allowance, please. Now you've left me no choice. I'm going on Spike. You mean you're going to start injecting heroin? Why should I?
While She-Hulk was stinking up the Disney Plus lineup.
I actually disagree. I think it was kind of cute. It wasn't perfect, but it was, like, fine. It's fun. Yeah. It's pretty good.
As well as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Demon Slayer 2 was out and absolutely crushing it. I can't recommend Demon Slayer Season 2 enough. If you haven't seen Demon Slayer, go watch it. Even the manga's interesting. Go read it if you want. She-Hulk's writers were more concerned with fighting with critics of the show than coming up with a coherent storyline or a likable female lead. Demon Slayer Season 2 was not only a joy to watch and an escape from the drudgery that was Disney Plus, it also inspired you to try to be a better person through the heroic actions and deeds of its endearing cast of characters. Everyone was great on the show, even the villains. Even characters you start off not
I
like.
thought this was about manga. This is about anime series.
You begin to like later. That's great writing. In my opinion, even the side characters in Demon Slayer are so interesting. You want to find out more about them. You want to know their backstory, what makes them tick. This is good stuff. By the way, did you know Full Metal Alchemist, written by a woman, and a team of women wrote She-Hulk, and She-Hulk is terrible. I can't stop taking a crap on the show because I wasted my life on it. Whereas to She-Hulk's co-stars, I can't remember any of their names. I don't care about their backstories.
Did you know the most mainstream popular animes are good? I have amazing insight. Yeah, so the thing I liked about She-Hulk was that it knew it wasn't serious. It felt like it felt low stakes, but also like it was decent. It was decent. Yeah, I liked the structure of it for the most part. It felt a little hurried, but I didn't really want to watch. I'm glad it wasn't like a big serious thing. Full Metal Alchemist wasn't political at all.
And I've seen every episode a minimum of 2 times. And the cast was antagonistic towards the fan base on Twitter.
Wait, you've watched this twice? What the fuck?
Going as far as to tell viewers that they were misogynistic and they needed a show like She-Hulk.
Do you think watching a show to try to find things to hate about it makes you find things to hate about it? I went into She-Hulk thinking it was going to be really bad, and it was fine. But I didn't try to find bad stuff about it. I just was like, all right, well, let's try it. Velma, however, was fucking bad. It really was.
I can't even remember that woman's name. She's the bony chick that played Titania. I can't even remember her name, and she was such a dick. Demon Slayer inspires you to be a better person. She-Hulk and other forms of Western media and entertainment.
I can't remember her name.
Comic
You
books
said
are
she played to Titania.
otherwise tend to tell you to do better and to give us money, you filthy bigot. Comics and Western media as a whole have forgotten their job is to entertain us, not to preach to us and not to lecture us. They hide their...
Not to preach to us and not to lecture us. What?
bad writing behind creative bankruptcy, diversity, and representation, all the while telling anyone who doesn't find their unnecessary changes for modern audiences to be palatable. They also
Do you not think that the Watchman preaches a political idea to you? Like, or do you just happen to agree with it? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? The fantastic pieces of media are always inherently going to say something. They have something to say. Like, it's so insane for you to be like, they're not even trying to say anything. You literally said Demon Slayer was good because it makes you try reflect on yourself if you're a better person. Do you not think that that's preaching or telling you to act away or having an opinion on things? Like, these guys don't understand how to do any sort of media review whatsoever. How these people get popularity is so surprising to me. The editing on this is just fucking abysmal as well.
also rely on Twitter Puritans to strawman anyone who disagrees with them on their show. And at the end of the day, who is this for? No one but their own shallow egos.
Tim Drake for me for forever and ever. Like, I used to run like a Tim Drake Tumblr when I was in like college, and
Sarah Pacelli said something to the effect of, and why can't we have people like this, like Miles Morales? Why can't we have like a black or a gay Spider-Man? Just off the cuff, it got quoted, and then like just the internet went nuts. Like, what are you talking about, gay Spider-Man? She didn't actually say Miles is gay, but now out of complete spite and pettiness, I'm going to have to answer this question with Miles Morales must be queer in some way going forward whenever he's on screen in a live.
Just literally as a response to fucking chuds, bro. Literally because you can't not. Yeah, fuck you then. Yeah, I'm for it. I don't care.
I got my queer bisexual Superboy, and I got my queer bisexual Tim Drake Robin. I got them both in the same year, even.
I'm ready to see a polyamorous relationship between Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey, so that they
Can
can
I
all
please have that?
No. It isn't about telling a good story. It's about gaining ground.
It's like gaining ground. He's so serious. Yeah, I don't know. Guys, give this dude money. It's wild.